Now, the EU, as it stands, has a massive impact on migration, especially around Europe in particular, obviously. See, the EU created a thing called the single market. You should have researched it on your own, but the single market basically means that the EU operates as one place to buy and sell goods. All of the valuable resources in every country can move for free between them if they are in EU countries. That means the EU trades as one big unit. So if you want to buy steel from the EU, rather than just buying it from France, you buy it from France, Germany, Sweden, Norway all at once, and then all those countries benefit from that sale. It earns more money. But the EU also decided to make a law about freedom of movement. Because if your stuff, your valuables, your resources are able to freely move about the EU, why shouldn't people as well? If we're going to be one big connected country, united together, why shouldn't people move for free as well? And they did. Freedom of movement was a law passed into the EU, and it is a legal requirement or a legal ability that any EU citizen is free to live, work, and move between countries without any problems. If you are a member of the EU, you can walk from France to Germany, you can live in Belgium, and you could work in Italy. You are free to do that because that's how the EU thinks that you should be able to live your life. It's a pretty good deal, I'm not going to lie. And the UK, being a part of the EU for a number of years, meant that freedom of movement allowed lots of EU migrants to come to the UK. In particular, Poland is the example we use in the textbook, so I'm going to teach you Poland's example. People in Poland, I believe, were being paid about 1/5 of the wage that they would earn here in Britain. If you're being paid £10,000 a year, and I tell you over there you could earn £50,000, you'd all go over there. So all these Polish people were being encouraged to come to Britain. And this style of migration is called a host country and a source country. A source country is where the migrant is coming from, e.g. Poland, is where the Polish people are coming from, and the host country is where those migrants are living and working now. So there's different ways, and should we say, how this impacts those two countries. Now I just want you to think, which ones of these are good or bad? So let's think about the host country. The migrants arrive to Britain. Most of them are young, hardworking, motivated because they're being paid lots more money. They fill job shortages in places that, should we say, other people, well, there's a job shortage because people don't want to work those jobs. So places like building and healthcare and farm work get filled up by these migrants. Services like schools and housing might become strained because there's more people in Britain, but generally the economy benefits because the immigrants are buying houses, they are paying taxes, and they are taking part in the environment. Do you think that's bad for the host country? I'd say no. Most of it's good, other than that there's more people in Britain, but Britain's richer for it. Now the source country has a bit of a different experience. The money that these Polish people earn does get sent back to Poland for the Polish families that they've left behind. It also means that there are less unemployed people in Poland, less people that, should we say, would be taking on unemployment pay from Polish government. There are fewer skilled workers in Poland, as in people who had skills that have left to go to Britain. And lastly, Poland's population is ageing, as in there's less young people in Poland because they're all going off to other countries. Is that bad for Poland? Arguably yes, but there's also good sides to this. Now, this is not just happening in Poland and Britain, this is happening in every single country across Europe. Just like I said to you that Poland's kind of having an ageing population and losing money, people are going to be coming to Poland as well. People are going to be moving in, and Poland will be a host country for a number of other countries. But EU is constantly a mass of people of movement, trade and money. And generally, the EU is one of the most powerful groups in the world at the moment. And as you're probably aware, Britain voted to leave the EU in 2016, which means that we lost access to free movement, which means we control our borders now, which basically means that it's harder for someone to migrate into Britain nowadays. Other than that, though, that means it's had an impact on a thing called net migration, which basically is the total amount of people who have moved into a country. Imagine it like a line, and if more people have moved in, we're going into the plus, but if generally more people have left Britain, it goes into the minus. And all this, should we say, statistic tells us is whether people want to go to that country or not. And we could have a think of maybe why people want to go to that country. So if I told you that Germany's net migration is plus 1,000 people, are people wanting to go to Germany, or are less people wanting to, are more people leaving Germany because it sucks there? People want to go to Germany, right? Now, if I told you that North Korea's net migration is minus 10 million, That's 10 million people leaving North Korea. Do you see what I mean? Now, you need to know these key bits, right? How does migration in the EU work? What are the impacts of migration for the host country? What are the impacts of migration in the source country? And what is net migration? You should know what those 4 things are, because they could possibly come up as a source question. They could possibly come up as an example that you need to use. I recommend you learn them. Use a textbook if you're more confused about my description, but I'm basically reading it to you. So please, revise this information. Good luck.